Hey! Okay, so this is for the Zoom for December 7th, 2020. Just to let you know, this is an example of the PDF that is also attached to this Zoom material. And if you complete this and put your answers in the Google form, it can be bonus points. Okay? So this right here, our first set of questions, the first 10, is all about classifying triangles. So we need to review our triangle classifications. Let me get just a plain sheet of paper. So we can review those. So there are two ways to classify a triangle. You can classify by its sides, and you can classify it by its angles. Okay, so for the side classifications, there are three. There is scalene, there is isosceles, and there is equilateral. All right, so let's discuss these three classifications. If it is scalene, that means that there are no equal sides. Okay, so if none of the sides are the same, it is classified as scalene. If it is isosceles, that means we have two equal sides. So if you have two sides that are the same, that means it is isosceles. And if it is equilateral, that means we have three equal sides. Okay, so if all of them are the same, it is considered equilateral. So let's go ahead and go through these first 10 and classify it by its sides. Okay, so we're talking about our side classifications. So I'm going to leave that right there for us to go over them. So if I'm looking at number 1 here, so I have 14.7, 15.7, and 9.2. So are any of those the same? Nope, there are no equal sides. So I want to say, all right, what does it mean for there to be no equal sides? That means it's scalene. Okay. All right, let's look at number 2 here. We have 5.1, 3.6, and 3.6. Do I have any equal sides? Why, yes, I do. I have two equal sides. If you notice, we have 3.6 and 3.6. So what does it mean to have two equal sides? Isosceles. Okay, I'm just doing 2 examples per each because of the fact that you should be completing this for bonus points, and I don't want to give you all the answers. Okay, now let's talk about our angle classifications. There are 4 ways to classify a triangle by its angles. The first way is called acute. Then we also have obtuse. We have right, and we have equiangular. Okay, so let's discuss what it means for these types of classifications. Now, if it's an acute triangle, that means we have 3 angles less than 90, otherwise known as acute angles. If it's obtuse, then we have 1 angle greater than 90, otherwise known as an obtuse angle. If it is right, then we have 1 90-degree angle. Remember, if it's 90 degrees, it will also be in the shape of a box. Okay? And if it is equiangular, that means we have 3 equal angles. All right? If you do not have these written down, you need to, because you'll definitely need them also for the exam. You won't be taking this test until the year 2021, but still, it's important to have it. So let's use these to go ahead and classify our 2 examples that we have by their angles. Okay, so when I look at my triangle in number 1, hold on. All right, so when we look at number 1 here, we're looking at the angle measures. I notice I have a 35, a 78, and a 67. So I want to see, are all 3 of them less than 90? Is one of them greater than 90? Is one of them equal to 90? Are they equal? Well, I know they're not equal None of them are 90. None of them are greater than 90. But they all are less than 90 degrees. Okay? So you would say 3 angles less than 90. So that means our classification here would be acute. Okay, if we look at number 2, if we look at these angles, we have a 45, a 45, ooh, and a 90. As soon as you see that box, it should instantly like set off a light bulb that goes, box means right. So that means we have a right isosceles triangle. Now, on the Google form that you can complete for bonus points, you'll have to click 2 answers because I have like all of the different classifications up there for you to complete. So like for number 1, this is one of the questions on that worksheet. You would click scalene and acute. You have to pick both to get full credit for that question, okay? All right, so the next part that we're going to be discussing today is the triangle sum theorem, all right? So remember that every triangle on the inside is equal to 180 degrees, okay? So if we're talking about the triangle sum theorem, what we're talking about is all 3 of those angles will always add to equal 180 no matter what. So I'm going to do one of those examples with you on how to solve it. So we're going to look at number 11 here. Now, what I like to do to help myself out on these problems is, even though there's question marks because it wants you to identify the angle measure, I go ahead and I throw an X in there just because it makes life a little bit easier for me to think of it more algebraically. So I know that all 3 of these, so 57 plus 61 plus x equals 180. So now you want to solve for x. So we want to combine our like terms. So that means we're going to put 57 and 61 together. Please use your calculators, okay? Simple math is something that a lot of students, while it is impressive that you can do it in your head, if you have a calculator to make life easier on yourself, please use it. So we have 118 plus x equals 180. And now you're going to take whatever you found, the 118, and we're going to subtract it from both sides. So now this is gone. We have x equals 62. So this is a question also on that Google form. To type in your answer, all you have to do is just type in 62. Okay? That's all you got to do. I also made it to where hopefully it can catch any other ways that you would type it in. But if you just type in the number, you're good to go. All right? And then let's see. The last set of problems from this Zoom that I would like to discuss with you is, let's take our triangle sum and let's throw some more algebra in there. So again, we know that a triangle equals 180, right? Okay. So the same thing is going to happen here. Our 3 angles are going to add together to equal 180. So our angles here, we have 80 plus 50 plus 7x plus 8 equals 180. Okay? Let's combine our like terms again. So everything that doesn't have an x on that side is a like term. So we have 80 plus 50 plus 8. We get 138 plus 7x equals 180. All right, we want to solve for x. So first we need to take care of that 138. Since it's a positive, we'll now subtract it because you've got to do the opposite to get rid of it. So I'm going to take 180 minus 138. That gives us 42. Just a reminder, anytime you have a number written right next to a variable or a letter, to get rid of it or to do the opposite operation, it is to divide. So since there's a 7 in front of this x, we're going to divide by 7. And we get our final answer as x equals, so we take 42 divided by 7, and we get 6. Now again, on your Google form, just type in the number answer, okay? That's all you got to do. If you have any questions, please feel free to remind message me. Again, if you complete the Google form And just to let you know, like, you have to look at this to do the Google form. Like, the Google form just says question number 1, question number 2. It doesn't have the pictures in there. So you have to complete the actual PDF on a separate sheet of paper and make sure you number it, and then just put your answers into the Google form. And it will be bonus points. Thank you for your time. Talk to you later.